maybe close to a year before if I paid for Digitize. But anyway, I remember getting certain files back, and I'm like, why did you do that? Why you ain't just go to the next one right there? It's right there closer. But there's certain rules to digitizing. One of the basic rules is supposed to start from the bottom and then work your way up, and start from the inside and work your way out. And it's like that too, to balance the stitching out, because you don't want to just be stitching. We got this little emoji here. You don't want to just stitch this side, right? You do all the stitching on one side of the file or the image. Okay. That makes the image shift. The image could shift if it's a lot. If it's a big image, it can end up shifting if you don't balance it and have some stitching coming on this side also, before you do all that. Like, you can't do 50,000 stitches. You got a 12 by 12 image, and you do 55 75,000 stitches on one side, and then you try to come back to the other side and then work that side. By the time you get to your outline of it, it's gonna be all over the place. So you got to be mindful of that also. Um we need to understand the different stitches. All right, you got to know what a tatami stitch is. That's a flat stitch. You got satin, you got 3D satin, you got in bras. This kind of gets into some other stuff, which is just flat stitching, but it has like different kind of flat stitches, to make you kind of this. But I don't want to get into that. All right, 101. Okay, but you do need to know what a tatami stitch is and a satin. 3D satin, it tries to mimic the 3D without the 3D foam. And so it's going to go over itself a lot to give it a 3D look. Okay, it's going to cost you a lot of stitching to do this. It's going to be a satin on top of a satin on top of a satin, to give it that look. But you got to make sure you know these basic and what these things do. You got certain things like the oval little circles you can do. If you kept that straight and then bow, 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 and then you hit enter on that, and then you got the emboss thing that I was doing that I didn't want to get into, y'all. Okay, that I didn't want to get into, but what you gonna see me doing? Okay, like this is the digitized block. Say we're gonna do a satin, and we're gonna do it in black. Okay, and so you could have outline, or you could have, like, if you did outline. Let me show you what outline looks like. It's left click, left click, left click, left click. You could clean it up when you come back. Left click, left click. I'm just trying to show y'all this. We're not gonna keep this, but well, that's a feel. I'm sorry, y'all. This is what the outline would have looked like. And you could have did the outline. You see it's a run stitch now, but you could have did it. You see it's a run. You got a triple run. You could turn it into a satin. But to do something like this, and this is why I need y'all to get, you know, you when you doing like the digitized blocks, you're gonna use that a lot, and you have to pretty much boom. You got to go from the one side, and you go to the other side, and you go back to that side. You go to the other side, that side, that side. Now, say you wanted to turn. All right, you come in, boom, boom, but your left click on your mouse is always straight. If you want to curve, you do right click, and it'll right click. But to keep the curve, to make the curve continue, you have to end it with a straight stitch, which is a left click. Boom, boom, to straighten it out. And then if we go, let's make sure we got it on feel and satin, and we'll get a satin stitch there. We'll get that little line there. All right. And I'm trying not to move fast, but I don't want this to be a super long video. Don't want it to be a super long video. Another thing we got to understand too, man, you can't just pile stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff. Really, when you get to like the third layer, you in danger zone. You don't really want to put four things on top of each other. Like if you see, if I went here and say this is a digitized close shape, so that I have to close this. When I mean I have to close it, straight stitch, left click, left click, left click, left click, left click. I gotta close the box, and then it'll try to give us a satin, but it's too wide, so it should be a tatami stitch. All right, for our flat stitches. So it's a couple of different ways like we could do this circle. I showed y'all one way that we could do it. We could just make the shape, or we could try to make the shape. All right, you got rectangle squares that you could make, but usually I don't have a lot of. I'll be hold on, let me do this real quick. I just need to just get it back aligned up perfect. And all I'm doing is just changing the hoop so it'll center itself. Uh-oh. You just hit backspace on that, but you got to deal with the program. So I'm going to try to do a circle here. I'm going to go in the center. I'm going to go in the center of this thing. And then I'm going to come out. I left clicked it. I'm pulling it out, pulling it out, pulling it out, pulling it out. Left clicking again. And then coming down, and left clicking again. And we hit enter. But again, you got to go there and play with that. You know what I'm saying? And then we could turn this yellow. We can find a different yellow here. Let's just deal with that. Let's do that yellow. All right. Is that the right level? Do that yellow right there. Left click on that. So you go down to the colors. You can left click. Like just the basic stuff. You got to know this stuff. Can you raise it up a little bit? Yeah, you can raise it up, but yeah. You have this thing here called True View. Okay, that's gonna make it look, where you can see through it. It gives a little more transparency to it. So you can see here that it's still some at the bottom here. I mean, it's still kind of over the image. So we could try to make this thing align up, but I'm gonna show y'all another way also. And then make it and bring it up a little bit. Once we hit select object, that's another thing. Like I really can't even get to the I want to get to the digitizing part, but it's just so much I gotta get. I gotta get y'all to really understand, which y'all should already understand. You really should already be understanding some of the basics already, because you should have been inside of that software. You should know how to select the object. You should know how to hit the reshape tool. All right, the reshape tool. Let me show y'all this. All right, we just doing a tatami stitch. Boom, boom. And we do it like that. We'll hit enter. All right, we go back to the regular view. Watch, we'll hit reshape on that. And then we can reshape it. Like we can even add more things to it. And this is your angle tool here. You can change the angle that the stitches are going into, which is very important. But we'll get into that another time. But the reshape tool allows you to reshape things. Boom. And see your left click. Watch the left click. Boom, that's straight. Your right click on the mouse. Boom. It gives you a circle, which tells you it's round. All right. And that's going to give you them little, a more rounder shape. But if you do straight, it's going to give you straight. You got to deal with the top. If I put another left click here, and then we'll be straight. And you can delete these. You can click it and hit delete. and click it and hit delete. If you have a lot of these nodes, if you have a lot of these nodes, it could slow your software down depending on how good your computer is. But I've done like 200,000 stitch jobs digitizing, and that thing slow up a little bit. So we did like a circle is a way you could just do it, and you can just boom, try to get in the middle, and boom, and hit your circle, and you can do it like that. All right, you also can go, close shape, digitize close shape, and you can go left click. Shalakia. I'm sorry. Right right click there. We just gonna right click it all the way back to the top. Right click, right click, right click, right click. And right click means we doing the curve. You see it curving. Right click, right click, right click. Now to end it, we gotta do a left click, and it'll straighten it out. Bam. All right, we hit enter on that. And it's a little funny, Donnie. But what we could do, all right, we hit the reshape. We select it. It's selected. You see the purple line around it. We hit the reshape, and boom, we hit we hit the right click, and then we can bring them up a little bit. But we should have done another right click. Let's do it again, just so y'all just so y'all can see it. Undo, delete, redo, delete. Well, let me just delete it. But let's do it again. All right, digitize closed shape. Digitizing a closed shape. We gonna go. Let's just go all right clicks. Right click. And you don't want to stretch this too far. But this is small design, so you can twerk it here, but you don't want to go too far. Yeah, so all right clicks, and we got us a decent circle. All right, and we can make the adjustments if you just really freaked out about that. Oh man, but usually when things are this small, they're not gonna know. And where did you see it at? Where do you see the height at? See the height and the width is 3x5, 3x5, 3x3, 3x5 inches. All right, small little emoji. But again, let's select this. We want this really that color. We want it yellow. All right, and you can put all your colors down here. Really, you can come down here and just say, "Oh, well, I wanna add some maroon in it." You can hit the maroon. Hit hit select. Make sure you on select. On the select tool, select the object, and then you can come down, left click, and you can turn it that color. Left click, you can turn it that color. And you can remove the colors, add colors, remove colors there. Okay, so we got the circle. All right, we got a circle here. And we also could put an outline. A lot of times some people do the outline last, but you can put an outline here by doing a satin stitch and going around, but you also have this tool here. Matter of fact, let me just do the face first. All right, so we're gonna make these eyes. We're gonna use a satin stitch for these eyes. A few different ways you can do a satin stitch, but the most detailed way, we're gonna use black. We're gonna use satin, and make sure we're gonna use a field stitch. Make sure it's not on outline. And you're gonna have to make sure you do that when you click one of these buttons. When you click freehand, closed or open or digitize blocks or close shape, open shape, you got to make sure that you switch back to whatever stitch that you want. Unless you're doing the same thing. Unless I was doing another field stitch, it wouldn't be a problem. But we doing blocks. All right, so we're gonna zoom in with your wheel on your mouse, and we're gonna click real sharp. Boom, left click. All right, and then we're gonna curve them. And see, we doing the blocks. All right, we're not doing the open shape, closed shape. So we have to build this thing. We got to go to the right side, to the left side, to the right side, to the left side, to the right side, to the left side, and we got to click. But this is curve, so we're doing right curve, right click. I meant right click, 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 and then I come down to the bottom. I'm gonna do two left clicks. Left click, left click. And then we're gonna hit enter. Guess what we got? We got a satin stitch. Alright. We got us a line. So y'all can do this, man. Y'all can do this. And then guess what we do? We hit select tool. Guess what also we can do? We can duplicate it. Alright. We hit the tool, we hit the select tool. Hold on, let me show you what we did. We hit the select tool. It's on select. You can reshape it if you need to. You can select it on the select tool, select it, and then you can hit the reshape. You see what we did. You see our angle lines. All right. And a lot of times when you're doing the blocks, you can't do things like, you don't want to do things like, boom and then you trying to catch it back up. All right. And then you hit enter on that. And then look at your stitches. See how your stitches look all funky? Because look how, and that's how it angled. Those clicks need to be next to each other or across from each other so the angle won't be crazy. Now, if I just come in here and I take the angle back down, and then we got a good looking stitch. All right. But yeah, let's hit the select tool. Boom. Let's select our little eye. I guess that's the eye. And we're gonna do, well, let me see, because we can't see. So we gotta hit the true view so we can see. Let's go to right click and go to duplicate. Boom, we done duplicated it. Now let's just grab it and bring it over here. Boom. Boom. I'm sorry, y'all. That might have been crazy in y'all ear. Anyway, all right. Now we got this mouth here. We can flat stitch it. Let's just flat stitch it. All right. Close shape. I'll start from the bottom. Just telling y'all that. But when designs like this, it don't matter. It don't really matter. When you got a 2,000 stitch design, it don't matter. I'm sorry, y'all. Right click, right click, right click, right click. I'm zoom in a little bit because I'm gonna hit the left and then curve them again. Curve them again. You see that did something there. Let me go back. You can just hit backspace and go back. Let me hit him right click. So he's still acting crazy. But right click, right click, right click, straight. And you see, I just go straight now and then right click, right click. I'm gonna go straight. Right click. And listen, it don't have to be like you're at this size, and that's just something you're gonna have to just get used to. Understanding the size of the design and can I use a run stitch or should I use a satin stitch or should I use a triple run stitch? Because when you have little, you got small designs, you're not gonna be able to put no heavy run stitch in there. I don't know why that went so crazy, but keep going. See, it'll fix itself. And then we gonna straight stitch here. Boom. We gonna left click. And then that's gonna give us that little mouth part. All right. And that shouldn't have been a satin stitch. That's why I told you have to change it. I didn't change it. Now what I can do, I can hit to the select tool. We see we got it selected, and then we can just hit to Tommy. All right, but you see we got these little funny lines in here. I be trying to get rid of this stuff. Sometimes it's not that big of a deal, but I be trying to get rid of that little line in there. See, it's a line right there too. I was just gonna let it go, but my Digitize and OCD be tripping sometimes. So, all right. And so now we got that part covered. Now you see you got this inside part. So listen, well, I guess they're teeth. Um, so you have this layer. All right, you got this gold that's gonna get digitized. This yellow gonna be digitized, and then you're gonna digitize black on top of that, and then you're gonna digitize white on top of that. And you know how thick things get, man. Those needles, it could be problematic. You layering that many times, you really pushing it at 3. It'll do it, but you're really pushing it. And I'll show you what you can do instead of doing that. We'll show you what can be done. um but let's go ahead and do the teeth, and then we'll go back and I'll show you what we can. Matter of fact, no, we'll do it now. Okay. This is right here. It says, let's click here. Well, it's 2 different ways you can do it. All right, there's 2 different ways. Let me see if I can find the easiest way first. But the easy way, a lot of times, it don't it can it could it cannot work as good. Like it'll look good, but it won't. Oh, edit digitize, edit objects is where we want to go. It's not for sure. You'll still mess around and see a gap or something in there because you did this. It's almost, it ain't as bad as auto digitizing, but it's something like that. But it's called remove overlaps right here. Edit objects, remove overlap. So I can just hit this button right here, and it's gonna remove the yellow that's under this black. Let me show you. Boom. All right. And it'll move that, and we can go over here to sequence. Like, you gotta play with this thing, man. I know this thing, I'm going pretty fast, but you see how now the mouth, let me go back. See how now the mouth is open right there. We had a circle. I'm not gonna go back. Let me see. Hide select. Well, I ain't gotta select it. Hide unselected. And so all we have here is the yellow, and you see how now it removed the part where the black was. And so once we bring everything back in and hide all, boom. And so now it's not layered. But like I said, it can mess around with that. It can have this little gap in here that's going around the edge. And that could mess you up. You know what I'm saying? But what you could do to remedy that is what? Let's hide this. Well, we ain't gotta hide it. I know I be changing my mind a lot, but that's how digitizing. A lot of times I be talking to myself a lot of time when I be digitizing. Okay, we click the yellow. All right, we just got the yellow highlighted. We're gonna go to the reshape tool, and we see here you can bring this in a little more. All right, you can bring that yellow down a little more. Now, is it gonna matter as much? No, it's not gonna matter that much because the black is covering this. But we want to make sure that the black actually covers it, and that there's no gap in between, because you see how it's right on the edge. So you just want to bring it in a little more, just to be sure that thing overlaps. And you don't have no gap in your image. You have to come back in here. Now, there's another way to do it, and I'll show you the other way to do it, where you still gonna have to it takes a little more work, but what I'm doing right now, adjusting, is pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much the equivalent to the same thing. So that works. Let me show you another way of doing that. Not go to edit options, you go to digitize, and it has this thing here. It says digitize holes. Okay, digitize holes. So you want to digitize a hole, you can just doop. Okay, we made us a little decent little circle, and we hit enter. And now we got a hole there. See the hole? And now we got a hole. And so you could have did that like that and just retraced this in the inside. You could just went in here, digitize holes and went in here. And you could have digitized the hole. Now this gonna put a hole in the black because we had the black selected. And so that took out of the from the black. We'll put Control Z, Control Z. Still some of the same command keys that we use. I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay in that camera, but some of the same command keys that you use in other programs. All right, so we got we got to do the teeth. We got to do the teeth in there. But that's where we at right now. Boom, boom, and we got to put the teeth in there. So we're not layered up. Okay, this dig has some room to breathe. These stitches can breathe. And you can put the teeth directly on there, or you could. For me, I'll probably just put them. I'll take a little out. I don't know. I'll probably put them directly in there, man. To be honest, for me. It's not a big deal, but I need to be better than me. So I'm gonna make the teeth. Should I make the teeth a satin stitch? I'm gonna make it a satin stitch, and I'm gonna start in this corner here. Sometimes when he had them curls, I started in that corner. I don't know if y'all can see. I wish y'all could see but you can just look at what I'm doing. You got to reverse engineer what I'm doing. Right click, right click, right click. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Right click, right click, right click, right click. Right click, boom, left click, right click. We gonna zoom in. Right click, and then I'm gonna do a left click. And we didn't change the color. Okay, so we haven't changed the color yet. We're gonna come down here to 10. Let me see if we can get down here to 10. We're gonna change the color to white on that and then hit enter. And now we got white teeth. Okay. And this is a wide satin. You can see when you see this, that satin stitch is pretty wide. Now what you could do, you could select that and go to object properties. This is pretty advanced here. We're gonna talk about it another time. And then you can take off the auto split. And it won't split it in two. But we're not gonna do that. All right, we're not gonna do that this time. We're just gonna turn it into a tatami. You could run it, but it look a little funny for me. Or you could just run it as a satin and take the come down and take the auto split off. But do you want them to have buck teeth? I don't want it to stick out. I'm just gonna make everything flat on it. We got the eyes poking out, but we'll leave it like that. I think that looks better to me. You may want a satin stitch on it. And then, so that's pretty much it, y'all. We got this little, it's a little basic design, but I'm gonna show you too. You want to make it a patch, which, I want to make it a patch. I'm going to go down here to create layouts. A lot of stuff with this. I said, man, it's a $1,200 program. On holidays, you can catch it for $900. But and then you got it's a new version now. They want another $300, but you're gonna get your money back if you plan on digitizing yourself. A lot of people don't have time to be digitizing. A lot of people don't have time to be doing videos. So, salute to those people. And maybe, you get good enough and fast enough to, start digitizing yourself to this AI because I'm sure AI is coming to do digitizing. It'll be dumb not to have that. As powerful as it is now with doing graphic images, You can put these things to stitches because you already got the program in Photoshop to do the fake embroidery. Um, so I don't know why the methodology wouldn't work here with this. But this should work. And now we could come in and we could take those teeth out. When I say that, I mean we can go to let's select object. Let's select it, and then we can go to digitize, and then we're gonna go to digitize holes. Okay, so just in case we don't want to go directly on top of it, or we want to make sure we ain't seeing no black through the teeth, you can go to digitize holes, and we going to just come in the inside of it, because we need a little room, because we don't want it. We wanted those teeth to overlay. We don't want no gaps. So we leave a little room. Oh, go back there. Hit the wrong button. And I done lost myself. Okay. And boom, boom, boom. It ain't got to be perfect, y'all. And these are the underworkings. These are the underworkings. Customers don't see that. But that's the mind of you can't have too much stuff layered on top of each other. Just making sure that thing closed. We're going to hit enter again. And we just did that directly on top of the teeth, which we were not trying to do. Which we were not trying to do. We should have did it on the black, but we did it on the teeth. So let's go back, hit select on the black, and then we're going to do it again. Okay, we're going to do it again. So we telling the program that we want the black to have a hole in it, not the white. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Boom, 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 boom. Y'all telling me y'all can't do this? And I know, them folk be calling, man, we can do them logos for $10. And then, sometimes you have problems, but it's just best to know this stuff so you don't have to worry about them, stuff being problematic or designs not coming out, and you have to wait on them. You got to send it back to them and wait on them to give you a better stitch out. You may have to wait another day for them to make the corrections. You don't want to do that. So there's a couple things we can do here. I want to put a outline. We're gonna get ready to wrap up, y'all. We're gonna put an outline on this thing. We're gonna go to the created layouts. We're gonna select this thing. Go to created layouts. Oh, we may have a problem, Charlie. But we'll see. But we may have a problem, Charlie. And that's why I should have did it initially beforehand. But we'll see. We'll see if it does what I want it to do. I'm sorry, y'all. We went to created layouts. Create layouts and outlines. And what I'm worried about now is it going to outline the whole, which I think it is. Okay, we got a satin type. So this top layer goes around this bottom layer. You know what I'm going to do? Select the whole thing. See what it do. This top layer, the object outlines. It outlines the object. Offset outlines it gives space, and then so the outline will be like around here. It won't be directly on it. It'll be, like I have a quarter of an inch outside of it, and you can, how much you want it offset and how many satin lines you want to go around it. All that stuff can be done. But that ain't what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to put an outline around the yellow. And I should have did it when I initially made the circle, and I was like, man, usually I'll probably go ahead and hit that thing right now before I start putting holes in it. But it may work, but I doubt it. We're gonna make it the same color, but we can adjust that later. Nope, it did what it was supposed to do. And it just hit the it just went around the outside. So it didn't hit everything. It did exactly what we wanted it to do. Let me go back. We'll do it all over again. I hit select tool. Boom. I select my object. Create outlines and offsets. I got it on satin. You can do it on different stuff. 3D satin, we can do a single run, we can do a triple run, we can do a zigzag stitch if you're doing like a lot of the Greek stuff and you got the letters already laid out. You can just go to create outlines and offsets and you can hit boom. And now you got a zigzag stitch, like a tack down stitch for it. You see what I'm saying? Let's go back and let's hit this again. Create outlines, offsets. And maybe I just do some more digitizing with y'all, man. I got some stuff I got to digitize. I got to digitize this little hat tomorrow for these hats that I want to do. For me, for my brand, my e-commerce. So we want a satin. Stitch on that. Boom. All right. Now say you want the satin stitch a little wider. All right. Got your select tool hit. We clicked on the satin stitch. We can go to effects here, or we'll outline, and then we can just 59 here. That's the default. And really that's where I want to be with this particular image. But sometimes you're doing applique, you want things to be a little fatter. We can go to like 125. You see what I'm saying? You can go to 125, you can go to 200. You pushing it at this point. You might want to slow down a little bit. Let me see what 325 look like. And you see we got that little indentation there where they split it and then flat stitch a little bit in the middle and then make another satin, which looks good sometimes. In some areas it does look good when they do it. Sometimes I like it. I like it looking like that. You can take the auto split off. Again, when we talking about the auto split, you can take that off and it'll do satin. But it may make your machine go because the satin stitch so wide. But it may be able to do 325. I gotta look and see the highest again. But really, we just doing some little 3-inch patches, and we do that thing at do that thing. I know that ain't gonna work. We'll do that thing at 059, and you got your little emoji patch there. Look at that. What we got here? Oh no, it did do that on us. It went. Let me show y'all what happened. So it did stitch. It did stitch that right there in the inside, but we can just delete that. And it did that because we put the hole in there. And so it went around that and it went around the hole. But we can just delete it. All right. And so you got to check that stuff. And that's what I'm saying. You stitch it out, boom, and this is very basic, y'all. Very basic. Very basic to do. Hit that middle, go to object properties, turn it to a satin stitch. You may think that looks a little better. Turn it to an embroidery stitch. But you see how the embroidery stitch took us to 1,500, close to 1,500 stitches. To Tommy at 13, this still is a heavy stitch out. And let me show you this last thing too, density. How do you deal with the density? How do you change the density? You're gonna go to edit objects, right? Say you want this yellow part right here a little denser, or just say the white. Say the white, the teeth, because you don't want that black to see through. But even though we don't cut the black, we cut it out so we won't see it. But let's just say it wasn't cut out and it was there. Okay. We're gonna go there, and that's your stitch spacing is what you'll click on. And you're gonna bring it down to make it more denser. So look at our count. We had 13,000 stitches right now. We finna put it down to 50%. And then we went up to 13.9. And so that'll be super, super, super dense. But I'm gonna leave it like it is, man. It'll run pretty good just like that. I rarely have to, make my stuff denser. Sometimes I make it less dense, depending, just depending on the design. And see, I like to come in, clean little stuff up like that, like this little hump right here. You want it to look good because once you got it good, um, once you got it set in good, that's it. You ain't got to mess with it no more. Now, sometimes you can make it smaller. You just hold the left click the left button on the mouse, and you can bring it in 1 by 5. That'll still be good. You probably won't have to do much to that. Um, but if you go too small or if you go too big, you may need more. You may have to make some adjustments with your digitizer. I wonder if we hit this mouth here. But see, we got the gap in there. See how we got the gap? Remember we put the gap in there? But let's see if we do a little layout. Um, let's see if we do a little outline on it. See with that mouth. See if it looks better with a we're gonna change that color to black. And let's see if it looks better with an outline on it. Now it look like and that wasn't even black. So we can come down here, we can select it. See, we on our select tool, we select it and come down here and click it. And now it looks a little terrible. But we also got to come underneath because we had the hole. It made that layout. It outlined that hole inside also. So we'll delete that. And we'll come here. We go to object properties. And we just gonna make this super small. Make it like 15. Maybe even smaller than that. Let's do it like 7. That gave us 70. And do 0.7. And yeah, look a little better. Look a little better than me. May not look a little better to y'all, but yeah, man, you do whatever you want to do with your stuff, It almost looked like the face is a little off a little bit, but what does it say, man? We finna say this thing and get up out of here. But if y'all got any questions, any comments, anything in particular y'all want me to go over with this Digitize? If not, man, we just gonna flow through this thing, and as I do these certain things, I could sit down with y'all and hopefully these things are beneficial. Again, you have to open the program up. You have to start doing these things. These rules apply across pretty much across all those softwares. Chroma is a little different on the clicking mechanism, but it's the same thing. Like it don't really do the left click, right click. It do it a little different. It does do it, but it does it different. It's almost simpler. They do it simpler on Chroma, but it is different. Usually the hatch, the wheel com is kind of like the industry standard. So that's software, and that's the file that they're gonna give you when they give you the whole embroidery file, so you can open that file up. It's best for you to have the wheel com or the hatch because that's usually what they're gonna send you, depending on your digitizer. Depending on your digitizer. But yeah, that looks pretty good to me. We'll see y'all on the next one.